So again, guys, as we're looking at this section in chapter 5, this one in particular should be pretty easy. As we're starting here, this is actually kind of a review of what we already have seen last chapter. It says, recall that the graph of an equation in slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Okay, with a slope of m and a y-intercept of b. As we start the first one, it just says write an equation with a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of -5. So again, we simply just plug them in. So y-intercept is there, slope is there. We write our equation, y equals -2x plus 5. As I look at the next one, again, you guys can try it on your own first, so go ahead and feel free to pause whenever, but I'm going to go ahead and answer here. Y is equal to, let's see, the slope is 4x, and then the y-intercept is -3. So again, as we go through these videos, you guys feel free to pause at any time if you'd like to try some on your own. The nice thing about some of these problems, you guys, is that we can actually look at the picture and tell what the answer to our equation would be without actually having to do anything. So the first thing that we always look for, and the first thing that we always graph in slope-intercept form, is our b, or our y-intercept. When we go to do this on this first one, I'll do this one first. Our y-intercept, b, is equal to 3. The next thing that we look at is our slope. What is the relationship between the rise and the run? So the rise, I'm going here down 2, so I'm going to write a -2. Then the run, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, it looks like. So my slope for rise, I have -2 over run is 5, so I write -2 over 5, and that's my slope. Then I simply just do the same thing I did last time, write my equation. Y is equal to -2 over 5x plus 3. Again, feel free to try the one on the right-hand side on your own before you go ahead and start. It's really no different, so if you look at your y-intercept and then figure out your slope, you can go ahead and answer the question. So I look at this one here. I'm going to erase this so that we can see this a little clearer. Maybe. Oops. Erase. Maybe not. Okay, so if I look at the y-intercept, it looks like my y-intercept b is equal to -2. Then I look at my slope, rise over run, it looks like I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's +5 over 3. So I write my equation, y equals 5/3 x minus 2. And there's your answer. So again, on this whole section, your answer should be in slope-intercept form. Next, as we look through this set of instructions here, basically what we're doing is we're going to have to do a couple different steps. Now, in this lesson, there's actually a shortcut, and I'm going to go ahead and teach you the shortcut today, but I am going to refer back to these steps in our next lesson. But our shortcut is actually pretty nice. When we look at this, we need to understand that anytime we have a coordinate plane or anything like that, we need to understand what it looks like. So I'm actually going to draw a coordinate plane over here to the side. What we need to understand is what our graphs are looking like no matter what. So when we have lines, again, these red lines, it doesn't matter what the lines are, but when I draw a line, the first thing we always look for in slope-intercept form, either when we're graphing or when we're looking to take an equation from a line, is our y-intercept. What we need to realize here is that our y-intercept x-coordinate is always 0. So whenever you see 0, whatever, that's actually your y-intercept or your b. So look for that in these coordinate points today because they give them to you every single time. Tomorrow it's not going to be the case, but today it is. So when we go to do these problems, really we don't have to do all these steps 3, 4, and 5 because they're going to give them to us. So for example, if we look at example 1, 0, -5, that's where I hit the y-axis. So my y-axis is -5. The only work that leaves me to do then is to find my slope. We did that also last chapter. My slope is given by the formula up top here. So I can pick either one, but I'm going to go -5 minus -1 over 0 minus 3. -5 minus -1 is -4. 0 minus 3 is -3. If I have a negative over a negative, it's going to turn to a positive. So there's my slope. Here's my y-intercept. I write my equation. Y equals 4 over 3x minus 5. Again, like I said, go ahead and pause. Try these on your own. But you're going to be able to skip steps 3 through 5 every time today. And we'll go back over this again in 5.2, how to do them with those steps. So again, as we go through these, I'm going to kind of go quickly when I find my slope, but I'm going to go m equals -1 minus 2 over 4 minus 0. -1 minus 2 is -3 over 4. And there's my slope. I look at my points. This one actually 0, 2 gives me my y-intercept. I simply write my answer. Y equals -3 over 4x plus 2. Next one. 3 minus 2 over 3 minus 0. 1 over 3 is my slope. I look again. My slope happens to be 2 on this one also, so I write my equation. Y equals 1/3 x plus 2. Next one here. We have 2 minus 3 over 4 minus 0. 2 minus 3 is -1 over 4. I look for my 0 coordinate point. There it is. So I write my equation. Y equals -1 over 4x plus 3. These all happen to be positive that you tried on your own, but remember again, it all depends on where that 0 coordinate point is. So if it's negative, remember to make sure you put negative in your equation. Our process here, again, I put it in the notes, you guys. It's very similar to the problem in the notes above. As we're going through this here, what we can do in function notation is basically take an x and a y coordinate out of what we're given. My x is my input, my y is my output. So I just basically rewrite this equation as 0, 5. I rewrite the next equation as 4, 17, and then I start my whole process. Again, we want to look for our b first. Again, these are going to give them to you. So 0, 5, there's my y-intercept. I've already found it. I have to find my slope. That's it. 17 minus 5 over 4 minus 0. 17 minus 5, I get 12 over 4, which is equal to 3. Then I write my equation. Y equals 3x for my m, and then plus 5 for my b. Again, try the other one on your own. I'm going to go ahead and start, and then you guys can take a crack at it. 0, 3, and then I have -4, 11. 11 minus 3 over -4 minus 0. 11 minus 3 is 8 over -4. I get -2. There's my y-intercept. I write my answer. Y equals -2x plus 3. Again, every one of your answers in the homework today is going to be function notation of some kind or slope formula, stuff like that. Okay, so the next thing we have here is a story problem. Again, don't overthink it. We have a recording studio charges musicians an initial fee of $50 per hour, and then it charges an additional cost of $35. So when we go to do this, anytime you see the word per, we want to put an x. We're going to write a function like this, 35x plus 50. So there's the answer to letter A. Then letter B, we're going to plug in 10 for our x. So we put y equals 35 times 10 plus 50. Y equals 350 plus 50. Y equals $400 is our answer. So again, you guys, this lesson should have been pretty much review. We should understand this pretty well by now. Again, at this point, if you don't understand it, you're going to need some initial help. Make sure you contact me about that.